Corruption has appeared on the land and the sea because of what humanity's hands have done. And we will make them taste something of what they have earned in order that they would return to the path. And so corruption, al-fasad fil bar wal bahr, corruption on the land and the sea. The trauma of our circumstance today should enable us to understand the importance of this verse. And the companions, when they looked at it, and they forecasted that the sins of Bani Adam, of humanity, that because of the sins of people, they would find themselves in a point where corruption would appear on the land and the sea. That the plants, vegetation would decrease, that the fish in the oceans would decrease, that all types of natural catastrophes would go about. And Sadaqallahu al-Azim, this fasad, this corruption has appeared. And as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, we will make them taste something of what they have earned in order that they would return to the path. And so, 2020, in this year that we are in, right from January, while the world now is focusing on the coronavirus, when all of our news agencies, all of our understanding has blocked out almost everything else in our lives, we have to realize the great picture, the overall understanding of what is happening. Right up until January, the calamities are coming almost like the 9 signs given to Musa alayhi salam for Fir'aun. In Australia, 17.9 million acres were burnt. 3,000 homes were damaged. 500 million animals were killed. It was a state of emergency. And it was reported they called it fireballs coming from the sky. In Chile, the smoke from Australia reached all the way to South America, to Santiago, which is 12,000 miles away. Indonesia suffered under severe flooding. Tens of thousands of people were displaced, and this flooding is actually continuing up until today. Puerto Rico suffered from terrible earthquakes, 5.8 to 6.4 on the Richter scale. 11 more earthquakes followed these major ones. This is just from January now, and coming into February, and coming into March. Volcanoes have hit Mexico, Japan, the Philippines. In Spain, high winds had appeared, heavy rain, snowfall, huge waves. Electricity was lost. In one part of Spain, a whole village was covered with foam. Turkey suffered under an earthquake of 6.8 on the Richter scale. In Brazil, heavy rains created landslides, devastating the land. In East Africa, one of the worst droughts that has been suffered in decades. And then locusts, hundreds and millions of flying insects. The locusts, a single swarm of locusts, 150 million locusts would destroy enough food for 2,500 people. These locusts devastated the land. I'm talking just January. Madagascar, severe flooding, a state of emergency. And then, of course, China. The corruption has appeared on the land and the sea because of what humanity's hands have done. We will make them taste something of what they have earned in order that they would return to the path. And so human beings, we have put ourselves into this. And however it has come about, whether it has come about because of our pollution, because of our destructions, because of our confusion, or maybe because of a type of germ warfare from a laboratory, however it has come about, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has allowed this to happen. And we as Muslims, we accept the fact that it is now stalking the land. This corruption affected the economic system. And the system of people that would do barter or would trade with natural things with intrinsic value, with gold and silver and animals and other types of items, began to trade with paper money. And this paper money over the course of centuries became worthless. Until now, the economy is a type of illusion. It is an illusion of a world economy. And so now we're on a reset. And because of the loss of employment, because of the change in our lifestyles, it is literally forcing us to go back to a more natural way of life, and it is bringing out more and more Islamic ways of life, the way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has developed for human beings. Corruption in social life, the immorality reaching epic proportions with the internet, with prostitution, with pornography, epic proportions around the world. A whole generation coming up with their language changing, their lifestyle changing. Reset. Now we have reached a very critical point in the history of this planet, with a virus stalking the land and with people now reconsidering their relationships. Can white continue to hate black? Can Asian be against Arab? Can the nations be based on ethnicity and tribe continue to do this? We are a human race. If people are suffering in Iran or suffering in Italy, then the rest of the world is suffering, because we're all one human family. Reset. We're all part of one family. We're part of one global village. Corruption on a political level, that our leaders should be the most truthful ones and not the ones who are speaking lies and who are basing what they say on votes or basing what they say on control of the individuals. Corruption in the financial relationships of people, in the economy. The small number of rich and the growing number of poor people on the face of the planet Earth. Reset. Our relationships have to change. And the governments who have been hoarding money, who have been changing things based upon their understanding of the economy, will have to do a reset.